What's up, collective fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat, back with another rigorous resin review for new PVC, pre-used or previewed. This one is spinning in front of you, and it's the Crow. Let's check him out. Boys and girls, we just unboxed this out of this beautiful keepsake style box, which if any of you are lucky enough to capture this resin statue from me, I would suggest you keep it in. Want to point out this was done by one of our good friends, friend of the Toy Rat, Mr. Rocco Tartamella. Rocco does really great work. He's been doing great work around the industry for a dozen or so more years, and I would strongly recommend if you see something with his name on it, you give it a second look. But we're not here to talk about Rocco Tartamella. Sorry, Rocco. We are here to talk about the Crow. Now, this is not the Crow from a couple of years ago with Skarsgård, is it? No, this is the Brandon Lee 1994 Crow. And this is an excellent rendition. Now, we've already unboxed it, so you don't have to worry about that, Mr. Gosh. Me cracking it open out of styrofoam. It comes in one piece, and it comes with this certificate of authenticity, which you get every single time you get one of the statues from Diamond Select Toys or Gentle Giants. Remember, guys, whenever you get one of these, you're going to want to take a look at the bottom of the statue, especially in this case, because I'm going to warn you right now, I could not read what that said on this card at all. It was a 0. It looked like a 9, but I wasn't sure until I looked like this. So this is number 912 of 3,000. What does that mean? The same thing I tell you guys every single time, which is there's only 3,000 pieces. I know I've got at least one of them. If you're a fan of the statue, I'd recommend you picking one up. Okay, so here it is. We're going to take a look at what we always take a look at first. And what is that? Those of you who know me, it's the portrait. It's the portrait. It is the portrait. Okay. I got little bits of styrofoam still floating around me from when I opened up the packages. Believable as that is. Okay? All right. So, first thing we're looking at is the portrait. Typically, I would throw on the old man eyewear and be a nice, shiny refraction for you guys in the video. But I'm elected not to do that because I've already gone through and done a hard look on this particular statue. So, here we go. First things to note, and things that I wanted to point out. The Crow, at least the 1994 original version of that, meant he had a white face. It was like makeup painted white on there with black lipstick around his mouth, almost like devilish clown-esque. And eyeliner around his eyes, and then one long, cat-like line that goes from his forehead down to the center line of his cheek. So if I'm looking all of that, you can see clearly that they nailed all of the, individual little segments of that. The glare from the white on this white with these LED lights is almost too damn much, I gotta tell you. So, in terms of portrait, they nailed the Crow part of it. You're not questioning the character, and ultimately that's what you're going after. But in an achievable way, he was also quite successful in getting Brandon Lee's likeness on that. I'm going to give you guys one more hard look at this. For those of you who are not my age or have never seen anything with Brandon Lee in it, that's the son of Bruce Lee. And he was only in a handful of movies, and most of them were action-related films. And I believe he died on the set of this film, again, 1994. So, a long time ago. Okay, so you may not have had an opportunity to see him, but this is definitely his likeness. He definitely had the right features in my mind to make him look a little bit scarier in the afterlife with the makeup on. Just the way his features were laid out, to me, always really cool. I'm not sure they achieved that in the later movie, this last Crow remake. I'm not sure it needed a remake at all, to be quite honest with you. Just my point of view. You guys can think whatever you like. So, again, we only give a score as high as 3 cheeses, and this one on the portrait is getting 3 cheeses. Okay, Now we're gonna move from that. I just want to talk a little bit about the hair because I really feel like they did a fantastic job. Rocco, good job, buddy. I mean, I don't know how close you guys can get in on the hair part of this right now. But a lot of times in these statues, I think there's a tendency to allow what I refer to as clumping. Like they'll start to sculpt out the hair and then it'll look thicker in places. This looks perfectly stringy, like there's the right amount of strands in his hair and there's no clumping going on. So I need to point that out because in the front of his face, because it's like wet and dripping, it's almost dread-like that's dripping in front of his eyes, and I really appreciate that. Okay, what is the next thing we look at in all of these statues? You guys gotta know this by now. That's right, good job. All of you, no, really, good job. Dynamic pose. What do we think about this pose right now? Clearly it's a resin minibust and you can't see his feet, but I'm going to make an argument for this being a very dynamic pose. And here's why. Of course you see his arms are out and they're, have this either come hither or go by motion. But here they are, and his arms and elbows are bent and there's a smile on his face. I believe it shows him in motion walking because his elbows are crinkled like he's flexing his arms outward for whatever reason that might be. But moreover, the crow. I don't want you guys to miss the awesome details of that crow. That crow, this crow right here, is so eloquently detailed that it's going to take you a while to see all the separate elements that he took the time to add into it. From each feather line that goes along the torso of the bird, straight all the way through the back, all the way down to its tail feathers. You can see back here how much intricate work that he took the time to put in. I also love the way the claws are done on the feet of the bird as they sit properly on top of the jacket structure here. It also is to note that they're exactly the same color, which was intentional. This super matte black, well, it's kind of a gloss black here, but that matte black on the gloss back, and it sort of disappears. The feathers, even though they disappear color-wise, it's just perfectly done that it creates the illusion of depth anyway, all the way through the back. Guys, you got to give credit where credit is due. So, boom. I believe that this bird is either coming in or going out, given the flex of its wings. That furthers this dynamic pose for me, and I'm going to give it 3 cheeses and say that it is a dynamic pose. Pretty damn cool. Okay, number 3, costuming. Does this look like what it's supposed to look like? Does it look like the crow? Does it? Does it? Does it? Yes. At least the 1994 version. I couldn't tell you what the new version is supposed to look like because I don't care. This is the Brandon Lee version. And they did a really cool job of making sure that they took care to note where he was cut on the shirt, which, guys, pay close attention to that. There's a couple of what look to be bullet holes at the top here. There's a long scrape mark in 2 different directions, signifying to me that it was done with like a sword or some sort of sharp blade coming across through here. And there's a giant hole there. It could have been from a moth. I don't know. But it damn sure looks like this is all sort of battle woundy clothing through here. But only the shirt. There is no battle damage to the leather. And I think I love the fact that there's no battle damage that I can tell anyway, at least directly to the leather. The leather is unscathed. The t-shirt on the inside, beat it to hell, but the leather is unscathed. It is perfectly done, in my opinion, here again, because in showing emotion, you want to show where the wrinkles are going to be most prevalent, where the bending of any limbs are, and clearly that's what you have here in these arm locations where he's bending his hands upward. You can see a lot of that. If you turn it around, you can see it here too. You can see that there's a little flex in the shoulder, by virtue of the fact that there are more lines coming down this side here. So artistically, I mean, he just spends a lot of time really thinking hard about what this character looks like in its pose, right? So so much credit goes to the people who can visualize that and then bring it to life in this way. I would urge you to take a look at the rest of Rocco's work if you haven't already, and if you're looking for someone to do the modeling for you, I believe he's an individual you might be able to get a hold of. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. All right, 3 cheeses dynamic pose. 3 cheeses on the portrait. 3 cheeses on the costuming. This is a 3 cheese statue. The weight on this is perfect. I want to feel like he's like every bit of 3 pounds. And it's perfectly weighted. At the base, just opposite of the encircled part here, or encircling the certificate of authenticity number that's down here, you're going to find 4 of these little tabs. They're on the corners here, which help to stabilize the statue and make it so that if you put it on some sort of slick surface, it's not going to slide around too much. Not like you're going to put it on your dashboard. Or maybe you will. I don't know. That's up to you. In any case, I'm thinking at $90, which is what our friends at Amazon have it for, this is a steal. I believe it's less expensive than it was originally, somewhere around $120. So if you are a fan of The Crow, if you're a fan of action horror movies, you're a fan of Brandon Lee, if you're a fan of movie memorabilia, if you're a fan of The Crow, I think they're all really great reasons to pick up the statue. If not for the really cool base, which we believe is the window he was thrown out of. And at the very base here, if we haven't noted it already, there is this super cool crow emblem down here. But on the back side of it, we believe that's the window he was thrown out of. Okay? Along with these really cool shingles and the shingle effect and the texture that's on here. We could probably talk about this for another 15 minutes, and that was without the boxing or unboxing of it. So, that is all you're going to get from me right now. This is Tony the Toy Rat. For our friends at Diamond Select Toys and Gentle Giants, the late, great Brandon Lee, and our friends who made The Crow. And I am out. Go get you one.